Eagles game day right around the corner, and it looks like new nickel corner Bradley Roby could be starting. Plus, with Fletcher Cox out, why is Jordan Davis confident the D-line might be even more dominant? Aaron Donald thinks the Rams can stop the brotherly shove. And Nick Sirianni finally admitted to changes needed in the play calling. So let's break it down. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, alright, as most of us know, it's just about impossible to describe what it's like being at a Philly sporting event. You really just have to be there and experience it for yourself, which is exactly what newly signed nickel corner Bradley Roby is doing since he recently attended the Phillies wildcard playoff game, saying to the Inquirer's Olivia Reiner that in amazement they were doing Eagles chants during the game, saying, I'm like, what? This is baseball. How are you going to talk about Eagles? But it just showed me how much they love their sports in this city. Yeah, what can we say? It's just different. And it sounds like Roby's going to get another intro into Philly sports culture, even though, yes, this one's a road game, sooner than we expected. After the Birds announced rookie Sidney Brown is somewhat surprisingly out due to the hamstring injury he suffered against the Bucs in Week 3. Although, if it was up to him, he'd probably be playing, since Brown said he's getting close to being healthy, and he's like a dog on a leash trying to get back out there.
A word of warning, though, if he does lay into you, it's best to just let him finish.
Okay, look, it's great that he wants to get back out on the field, but it's probably for the best to give it another week with a hamstring injury, especially because head coach Nick Sirianni's been impressed by Roby's ability to pick up the playbook so quickly.
We feel like he's done a nice job getting to know his teammates, getting to know the defense. We feel good that, where he is right now. I know he's been working out, but it's still different when you're out there playing football. Really happy with him and what he's looked like this week.
All right, I love to hear that, and what a nice hoodie, by the way, but I guess it shouldn't come as a big surprise since this dude's a pro and been around for quite a while, but it felt like it might take at least a week or two for him to get caught up to speed. However, the 31-year-old said all went according to plan.
Once you play so long in the league, there's only certain coverages you're going to run, so really just the small, minute details, so I don't think it should take long to get ready.
Well, I have no problem admitting I was wrong on the timeline speculation, and I'm honestly glad because we get to see the combination of Slay, Bradbury, and Roby out there, which is flat out dope. Or at least that's what Roby's calling it, saying that's a dope combination. That's one of the reasons why I decided to come here, because I like playing with other elite guys. It's great when you have elite, smart players to play with because you feed off each other. It's a great situation to be in. Yeah, that's definitely got a chance to be a great combo, and it never hurts to have the chemistry with other guys on the defense. Since, don't forget, Roby had been working out with Slay over the offseason and played with Zach Cunningham in Houston, as well as Contavious Street and safety Justin Evans at New Orleans. So he's no doubt acclimated to the group, which really couldn't come at a better time, considering the Rams announced wide receiver Cooper Kupp will play Sunday, and while I'm curious if there will be a snap count, he looked really good at practice. So add that on top of the fact that rookie pass catcher Puka Nacua started out looking like an all-pro, and our work's definitely cut out for us. Or maybe I should say defensive coordinator Sean Desai's work is cut out for him.
What would you say you do here?
Well, whatever the case, let's just hope he doesn't resort to a lot of zone coverage, because I think most of us realize how good both Kupp and Nacua are at finding soft spots in the zone. Thankfully, at least starting safety Justin Evans is back, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's a better option than Terrell Edmunds. However, even with the turnovers forced and playmaking so far, I'm not 100% sold on Evans being the final piece back there. Either way, I think this game's most likely going to be a shootout, which is why I agree with the Inquirer's Nick Goodling, who wrote, statistics aside, these two offenses have the potential to be the most exciting to watch and high-octane units in the league. Both teams can win on the ground and through the air and have a stellar pair of starting wide receivers. Philadelphia's pass rush is the only thing I can see slowing down the Rams, but their secondary has struggled so much I don't see Los Angeles having an issue scoring points with their loaded room of weapons. And similarly, the Rams defense doesn't worry me outside of Donald's pass rush and run-stuffing ability, so I'd be surprised if the Eagles aren't able to continue the high scoring they've done this year. I don't know, it makes a lot of sense to me, but maybe the pass rush will be the great equalizer. However, they're going to have to do that without captain Fletcher Cox, who not too surprisingly was officially ruled out by the Eagles and could even miss a couple weeks. Although Jordan Davis said that doesn't mean they'll be less effective.
I'm not really concerned about, if there's going to be any drop-off. Shouldn't be any drop-off. That's what we carry ourselves. We're professionals. That's what we get paid to do. We're here for a reason. And, you go in there and you play for the Eagles. Shoot, we hold ourselves to a higher standard than a lot of people. And so, we know we're ready. We're ready for the moment. Can't let it be too big. Can't let it too small. Some people might look at it as a competitive advantage, but at the end of the day, it's what we do.
Okay, personally, I don't think there will be too big of an impact short-term without Fletch, but if you go long-term, I think that's when you'll start to feel it. Fortunately, we're one of the deepest D-lines in the league, and it looks like rookie 7th-round pick Moro Ojomo will get to make his NFL debut, since Marlon Tuipulotu was also ruled out for the game Sunday. And Ojomo's ready to make a statement, saying it's next man up mentality. Whatever opportunities I get, I'm going to take them and give them everything I got. Look, hopefully Big Mo's impactful, but I'm not really sure how many snaps he's going to get. Granted, he was one of the standouts in the preseason, so regardless, I'm glad he should at least get a little playing time. But on the flip side, it'll be interesting to see how Quez Watkins' return affects the offense, as I'd assume he'll slide right back into his wide receiver 3 spot. Yet there are some who wouldn't mind Olamide Zaccheaus keeping the job, like Brendan Deeg, who said even with Quez Watkins back, Olamide Zaccheaus deserves to hold down the number 3 receiver spot. He's come up big for the Eagles in back-to-back games. Now, of course, you might be saying Oz only had 1 catch for 11 yards. However, his block downfield on the AJ touchdown is something that really shouldn't go unnoticed. Although, even with all that said, I think I've got to lean towards Quez getting back in there, because fast Batman definitely keeps the D honest.
Batman is everything, because that type of speed you have to account for, and everybody knows that. So whenever he's on the field, it's alert that goes up. So.
I mean, at this point, Oz has definitely made a lot more contributions in the offense, but my hope is by getting Quez back in the lineup, you can get Dallas Goedert going, because it's absolutely crazy how little he's been used in the passing attack, which is probably part of the reason the Birds are 24th in red zone efficiency, although it sounds like that's just about to chanch.
We got to put the players in better. We got great players. We know we got great players. So to me, I've said this to you guys already, like, to me, it's about us as coaches putting them in positions to succeed, and we just got to fight like crazy and put the work in as coaches, which we have this week, is, to put them in those positions. Our job as coaches, when you got the players that we have, is to kind of, don't get in the way, and we just got to make sure that we're putting them in the right spots. That's where we're going to get better there, and we got a lot of faith that we'll get back to where we ended up last year, and I think even the year before in the red zone.
Okay, how about that? Sirianni actually admitted the play calling's an issue, as opposed to the past instances where he said we're getting better each week and growing, which kind of signifies to me that he realizes something's off, or maybe he's just being a good leader and taking all the heat. Whatever the case, he even went as far as to share a specific example they could be better.
Yeah, gosh, that 3rd and 11. Do you guys remember the 3rd and 11 call I made?
All right, obviously a little sarcasm there, but we all remember that 3rd and 11 inside the red zone that seemed more than a little conservative, which turned out to be Sirianni's call after all, with the head coach admitting that he overruled Brian Johnson in that spot and will take all the blame. And hey, like they say, admitting that you have a problem is the first step, or something to that effect. But I think that says a lot of what the staff is seeing on film, and perhaps why it looks like Jalen and other members of the offense are uncomfortable at times. Now, I will say kudos to Sirianni for taking the flak, unlike some other former coordinator would never do. Sorry, I couldn't help it. But going back to what Sirianni said, sure, it's early, but being 24th in red zone efficiency with this offense isn't going to cut it, especially when you look at last year's numbers where Philly finished 3rd in red zone efficiency, and then even 2021 when the Birds were 8th, making me agree with Tone DeShield's assessment, saying, just think about how things look in the red zone. The Eagles clearly are capable of moving the ball up and down the field, but red zone offense and play calling has been awful. When they get in the red zone, I don't see a plan. At the same time, like we've talked about, yes, we're only a quarter of the way through the season, so it'll improve with time, but I think, like Sirianni alluded to, this is the week we finally see the Birds really open up the playbook in that area. By the way, the Rams are 26th in terms of defensive red zone efficiency, so it feels like this is another reason it could be a get-right game in that category. Okay, but just to make sure that everyone doesn't think that I'm all doom and gloom, because I've seen some of the comments, the scariest part of all this is whenever you put it into perspective, the Eagles are scoring nearly 30 points per game, even with such poor numbers in that area. But like I said, I'm going to bet it gets so much better on Sunday. Speaking of betting, I've got a really cool promo thanks to BetMGM, where your first bet is a guaranteed winner. All you've got to do is sign up through the link in the description and then place your first bet, where if you lose, BetMGM will match your entry in bonus bets up to $1,500. So you get some money, it supports the channel, and I'll send you a pretty cool gift as a thank you.
Win, win, win.
For those interested, make sure to email me after signing up so I can get the gift sent out to you, and please make sure to gamble responsibly. All right, enough of the shameless plug. We've got to talk more about the brotherly shove. This time with Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris questioning why it's even still allowed, saying it's a play that's not legal anywhere else in football to be able to push another player. You can't do it on a field goal block, can't do it on any other area of the game. So I don't really understand what's taken so long to get it out. Like, is it at all surprising anymore to hear the opposing defensive coordinator complaining about the QB sneak? I get that it's frustrating when one team, specifically the Eagles, can run it so effectively, but come on, this is getting ridiculous at this point. However, if there's any way to stop it, Aaron Donald thinks he has the answer.
I think it all starts from, the center. If you get under his pads and pop him up, and Then guys crowd the ball, you can stop it, but it's definitely tough.
All right, well, as we all know, that's definitely much easier said than done because the Eagles hit at about a 90% clip, which is much better than my weekly pick record for those that have been following. But this week, I'm going to go with Cincinnati to cover the 3 in Arizona, and then crazy, I know, but let's take the 3.5 with Minnesota hosting Kansas City. And then for the last one, I'll go with a shootout in LA, taking that over 50 total in the Eagles game. There you go. Best of luck to anyone telling, and let me know if you have better picks in mind to go with. Thankfully, not too long until more Eagles action, where we'll be doing live play-by-play, reactions, watch party, and a giveaway at the end of the third quarter. So let's go Birds, and we'll see you at game time. This has been the Philly Special.